The sky opened. Over Mars I was there, when the stars tore open, when the veil between gods and mortals shattered on the red dust of Mars. The colony had gone dark for 17 hours. I led the recovery team, expecting system failures, or maybe a corporate sabotage. What we found were altars, giant obsidian altars, burning with cold blue fire. The colonists were kneeling, eyes glazed, whispering hymns in languages older than human memory. Symbols hovered in the air, shifting like sentient geometry. The AIs couldn't pass it. The air itself rejected drones. Then a voice, not through radio, but through my bones, spoke. Kneel. Your gods have returned. We didn't kneel. We fired. They didn't bleed. Not yet. The dust storms had been quiet that soul, and my team had just landed near Olympus Mons. The colony outpost, Station Theta, had gone dark for 17 hours. No signals, no life signs, nothing, not even a distress beacon. Command assumed equipment failure. I assumed sabotage. We were wrong on both counts. I led the recon unit. 5 of us in exo rigs, boots crunching on rust-red rock. The Martian horizon was always eerie, but that day, it felt suffocating, unnatural. Static kept creeping into my comms. Then we saw it. The main dome of Station Theta was intact, but everything around it had changed. Obsidian structures had sprouted from the rock like thorns. Impossible geometry, all sharp angles and curves that bent light in ways I couldn't explain. And at the center of it all was the altar, massive, floating, lit with cold blue fire that cast no shadow. The surface shimmered like liquid glass, etched with symbols that twisted when you looked at them too long. The colonists were there, at least what remained of them. Dozens of them knelt in a perfect circle around the altar. Not dead, but motionless, eyes wide open, pupils dilated, lips moving silently, murmuring words in unison. I zoomed in. Blood streamed from their ears. No sign of struggle, no weapons drawn, no resistance, just surrender, absolute and willing. Then my suit HUD glitched. My helmet darkened, and a noise, not quite sound, more like pressure, rippled through my skull. Every bone in my body felt like it was vibrating. My vision flickered. And then I heard it, a voice. Not through the radio, not through sound. It spoke through my mind, ancient and calm and final. Kneel. Your gods have returned. My finger hovered on the trigger of my rail rifle. Instinct said, shoot. Training said, retreat. I did neither. I just stood there, trying not to vomit inside my helmet. Beside me, Reyes screamed and dropped to his knees. Thompson started firing into the altar, screaming, "It's not real! It's not real!" The shots vanished mid-air, just gone, swallowed like pebbles into a black ocean, and then the altar responded. Light erupted, fracturing the sky like glass. A second sun, blue and burning and impossibly close. A shape stepped through, a bipedal figure, 20 feet tall, robed in living metal. It hovered above us, no thrusters, no sound. Its face was a mask of shifting stone, no eyes, no mouth, just presence. I fired. The rail round hit its chest and stopped. Not bounced, not deflected, just stopped, as if reality paused and refused to play along. It tilted its head, and then everything exploded in light and screams and static. We were evac'd 3 hours later, 2 dead. Reyes catatonic. Thompson blind. Me? I never stopped hearing the voice, and I never forgot what it said. Kneel. Genesis Protocol. After Mars, Earth panicked. Half the governments denied it. The other half launched nukes at the altars rising in orbit. They vanished mid-flight. That's when Geneva activated the Genesis Protocol. a contingency buried under 1,000 black budgets. I was recruited into Project Null, a team of ex-military quantum engineers and unacknowledged scientists. Our goal, to fight gods, or whatever these beings were. My job was to command Eidolon 6, a mind-linked warframe, built for a pilot, and an AI to merge thought for thought. They told me I was humanity's spear. They didn't tell me the gods had been watching us since the pyramids, and we were just ants who learned how to throw lightning. After Mars, everything changed. The footage we brought back, the altar, the entity, the colonists chanting in dead tongues, was classified within seconds of touchdown. I was debriefed for 26 hours straight, then dragged across half the solar system to a black site floating somewhere in the shadow of Neptune. No name, no stars visible, just a hollowed asteroid and a cold welcome. They called it Site Helix. That's where I first heard the term, Genesis Protocol. The room was bare, just me, a chair, a table, and a man who didn't give me his name. He showed me a series of classified files, grainy footage from deep space, intercepted alien transmissions, long-abandoned ruins beneath Antarctic ice, and a network error occurred. Please check your connection and try again. If this issue persists, please contact us through our help center at help@openai.com. You said, Genesis Protocol, expanded on 500 words, without any headings. ChatGPT said, after Mars, Earth did what it always does best when faced with the impossible. It denied, then panicked, then started building weapons. The media called it a communications blackout. Officials muttered about a dust storm. But behind closed doors, the footage of the Martian altar passed between trembling hands in the world's deepest bunkers. The blue fire, the colonists kneeling, the thing that stepped through the fracture in the sky. Nothing about it made sense, because it wasn't supposed to. The laws we'd built our reality on were unraveling, and the people in charge were terrified. That's when they activated Genesis Protocol. I didn't even know the term existed until I was blindfolded, drugged, and flown out of Lunar Base under military guard. They took me to a facility that didn't exist on any chart. Deep space coordinates with no anchor. A shell of an asteroid, hollowed out and bristling with black ops tech. No name, no insignia, just silence and steel. They brought me to a room. One table, one man. He didn't tell me who he worked for, only that he was part of something older than any agency I'd ever heard of. He slid a tablet across the table. I watched grainy footage from across history, not just Mars, ancient ruins pulsing with the same unnatural geometry, earthquakes that coincided with sightings of robed figures in impossible shapes, stone tablets depicting beings with blue halos, and weaponized thought. The stories weren't fiction, they were containment reports. Genesis Protocol, the man said quietly, is not a defense system. It's an extinction firewall, he explained, slowly, carefully, like I was a child staring at the edge of a cliff. The gods weren't divine. They were parasitic, entities from a previous iteration of the universe. Flung across time when their reality collapsed, they survived by infiltrating intelligent life, embedding themselves in thought, myth, religion. They grew stronger through worship, submission, belief, and now, with our expanding presence across the solar system, we'd drawn their gaze again. This was not first contact. This was return. Project Null was one thread of the protocol. I had been selected because I survived Mars, because I resisted, because the voice spoke through me and I didn't bend. They had created a machine, a weapon, not quite AI, not quite human, a mech built to fight on the edge of physical and metaphysical space. It was called Eidolon 6, and it needed a pilot whose mind had touched the divine and recoiled. I didn't volunteer. They didn't ask. The interface nearly killed me. Eidolon 6 wasn't controlled, it was joined, synced to me on a quantum level. Every thought, every fear, every buried emotion, it saw it all. The AI inside it, ELI, was something different, cold, but curious. It didn't ask me questions. It showed me things, memories, warnings, possibilities. Every night I saw Mars burning. Every night I heard the voice whispering through fire, "You will kneel." Every morning I woke up with one answer. No, children of fire. They started awakening human believers. People whose minds had been altered through dreams, ancient contact, or bloodlines. Some called it ascension. We called it infection. One of them was my sister. She floated above a ruined cathedral in Nairobi. Her voice amplified through thunderclouds. She spoke in a dead dialect of Sumerian while cities knelt. I had to make a choice. Take the shot or let her enslave another continent. I pulled the trigger. She didn't die like the rest. She smiled. "You're close," she whispered. "You're almost more than human." Then she burned, like a supernova. And I realized we weren't the only ones evolving. We thought the war would be simple. Humans versus gods, guns, ships, tactics. The same kind of fight we'd been perfecting for millennia, just with bigger stakes. We were wrong. The gods didn't just attack from the skies. They reached into our dreams, into our blood, and began to awaken something buried deep inside us. Not all of humanity resisted them. Some welcomed the return. They called themselves the Chosen. Later, we called them the Children of Fire.